welcome back to Tea and a Buddy podcast with me, Dominic.
And me, Erica.
And we're going to wrap up the chocolate series today.
The chocolate series,
yes.
Yeah, it ended up being just a chocolate series.
Yes, because we just got carried away with so much chocolate. We were just so into the chocolate, as Erica says. So into the chocolate. And we're going to wrap it up with chocolate that's been discontinued. Candy bars in both the US and the UK.
And a little bit of a story time. And then
a little bit of a story time, yes.
And then another quick...
Not looking forward to that one, actually. But...
another quick little...
wrap up.
Well, a little list that I found.
When we were
doing research for this. Yeah,
How
I just thought it was interesting. So this is just going to be like a mishmash.
A mishmash.
Chocolate topics.
Some warm chocolatey memories for you. Because we all love chocolate, don't we, everybody? Don't we? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello, is this thing on? I think maybe we should start with the story time.
Okay, we'll start with the story time. Just get it out of the way. You can tell it.
We were trying to decide which chocolate episode to include this in. It doesn't really necessarily. I guess in the British one it should have been.
Yeah, but I mean, this is kind of like...
This is the mishmash, yeah.
The mishmash. Story time.
So the first time, and it's not much of a story, but I mean, Dominic will have to fill us in as to whether it is or not. But
well, it kind of is, yeah.
The first time I went to Britain, and it's funny, this is going to go off topic a little bit here, but it's funny because I was just thinking about this earlier. Dominic and I met in 2007, and then I went to Britain at the end of that same year.
December, yeah.
Yeah, and we met in like January, and then I went to Britain in December, yeah. And I was just thinking, it's so funny that wasn't that long ago. It was 12 years ago now.
Yeah, about 12
almost, yeah. Ish, yeah. And it's just funny how things have changed so rapidly in that time. I mean, there was no
Facebook.
And well, there was, but it wasn't as it wasn't popular, half as popular. Yeah. Instagram, Twitter. Yeah.
I don't know actually.
I don't know if those exist. Maybe they existed, but they definitely were not popular.
Yeah.
So we met on MySpace. Well, that's where I remember meeting him anyway.
The MySpace years. Everybody remembers Tom from MySpace.
Yeah, and that was the only kind of thing. You didn't have smartphones.
Nope.
So you could only check MySpace.
I had a flip phone that could only like text and maybe make a blurry video.
Yeah, there was no WhatsApp. So when I was getting on the plane, or before I left, they announced that we weren't going to leave until like an hour and a half.
Delayed.
Yeah, we were delayed. So I called my mom. I had my cell phone. And I called my mom, and I had left with her this calling card that I used to use when I wanted to call Dominic for international calls, because it would cost a fortune if you were going to call from your landline, which we still had at the time, or from your cell phone or whatever. It just cost an absolute fortune. So I had this calling card, and I left it with my mom so she could call me when I got to Britain if she needed to for whatever reason. So I called her, and she had the calling card, so I couldn't call Dominic. And I said, would you call him and let him know, because he's going to meet me at the train station in London. And would you know that I'm going to be like an hour and a half late or possibly more? I think we ended up being even later. I'm not sure why.
Because I think you were supposed to get in at like 6 a.m. You were supposed to get into Victoria
I think we were like an hour and a half
delayed,
and then that's what they announced, and then it ended up being even longer. Like we sat on the tarmac for a while. Anyway, so she did. She called him, so he knew that I was going to be late. But he had bought me, apparently all this chocolate, all this British chocolate
it wasn't that much, to be fair. No, it wasn't that much chocolate. It wasn't like...
Oh, now you say that. And I got there. I arrived in London. This is all another story time, but I arrived in London. I figured out how to get to the train station from where I had come in, and I met up with him, and hello, hi, whatever. And I don't know how or why, but you were just like, I think you handed me like one candy bar or something. And I don't know why. And I was just like, what? And you said, oh, I had bought you a bunch of other chocolate, but I ate it. Or no, I eated it. Or something.
I eated it. Yeah, that was my thing. Bought you a bunch of chocolate, but I eated it.
Yes, and it was.
And I did, and I bought like
I had a
3
bunch
or
of-
4 bars from like W.H.
More.
Smith or something, and I had it in a plastic bag. And I'd gotten up. What my side of the story is, I'd gotten up there quite late. I'd gotten into London from Wales at about 11 o'clock at night, and I got the tube and I got to Victoria Station.
So you'd been at the train station all night.
I'd been at the train station literally all night. They closed it for like an hour.
Yeah.
And that's when your mum called me.
Yeah.
Because I needed to pee really badly.
TMI.
It's not TMI. We all do it. And they'd locked us out at the train station. There was no toilets around. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go somewhere. I'm going to have to find somewhere. And I was like, find somewhere where there's no CCTV because London is full of cameras.
Oh my God, this is definitely TMI.
And anyway, I couldn't, but then I came back and they'd let us in. They'd opened the gates again. I was like, oh, thank God. And then my phone started ringing and I picked it up and it's Erica's mother. And she's just like, oh, she's going to be late, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just looking around for the toilet, I'm just like, okay. And I finally got to the toilet, used it. And then it was like 6 or so more hours before you got in.
So you needed the chocolate.
So I needed the chocolate. I needed the chocolate. Okay.
But so I think I had like one double-decker bar or something. I
saved the best for you.
I guess it was supposed to be.
You just remember that.
I remember thinking like, this is supposed to be a sweet thing, I guess, the fact that you got it for me. But then what am I supposed to think of the fact that you ate it all?
Well, I could have just said, I bought you this double-decker chocolate bar.
Yeah, you could have.
And not mentioned any of the other bars that I'd eaten previously.
It's probably what you should have done.
Previously in the evening. Or the morning, as it was.
Early hours of the morning. But anyway, that's our little chocolate story time for you.
Yes. Not really too much of a story, but...
Not too much, yeah, but...
Just don't leave me alone with chocolate. Anyway.
On to the next.
On to the next thing. Moving swiftly
of
along
the
here.
Podcast, yeah.
We're going to talk about British chocolate that's been discontinued, and people who are my age, which is early 30s, will maybe remember some of this. It's not quite in the stage yet, I'll have you know, but all right. People who are my age might remember all this.
Do you remember?
I remember. These are the ones that I remember.
Oh, you only made the list of the ones
yes.
that you remembered?
Yeah, because
okay.
there was stuff there was
my list is
the 1970s, and I wasn't around in the 70s, man.
Yeah, my list is going to be a lot different.
The first one on the list is the Cadbury Taz. Now, who remembers the Cadbury Taz? It was around in the 90s when I was a kid. It was like a Freddo. Have you've seen Freddo?
Yeah.
And the Freddos are like 10p, and they're like a small chocolate frog, which is maybe where the inspiration for the chocolate frogs for Harry Potter came from.
But it's basically a dairy milk in the shape of a frog.
It's a dairy milk in the shape of a frog, but there was one with the Freddo with caramel in.
Oh, okay.
But this Cadbury Taz, it was in the Looney Tunes Tasmanian Devil. It was in the shape of him, and it had caramel in.
Random.
I used to eat them like crazy when I was a kid, but then they just disappeared. I guess in the mid-90s.
Okay.
But yeah, so there was that one. It looks like it was dairy milk chocolate. It was Cadbury, but I mean, there's petitions online for all this chocolate to come back, and some of it doesn't really need to because there's similar products. And so yeah. The next one I've got on the list here is Cadbury Snowflake. Now that
it sounds cute.
It's cute. It's basically flake but white chocolate.
Oh.
But it was covered in milk chocolate.
Okay.
It was covered in milk chocolate and it had the white flake.
But it's all flaky?
Oh, wait a minute. Was it a mousse? Maybe it was a white mousse.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
I can't remember now. It was years ago. It came out in like 2003. Cadbury launched it. And I seem to remember there was a bit of a scandal. People in Britain will remember Anthea Turner's wedding to some guy. I can't remember his name. I don't know. It was like they did a big like expose in the Mirror or the Hello magazine, you know, their wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And in all the photos, they were eating Cadbury Snowflake.
Oh, so it was like advertising?
It was advertising, and people were like, oh, you know, that's a really crappy thing to do,
and
or whatever.
Cheap
and tacky. You turned your wedding into a advert, you know.
Yeah.
And so there was a bit of
be the first people.
And no, it wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. Especially not today, anyway.
Yeah.
And that was back in like 2003 when they launched it, and then it kind of it didn't really take off.
Yeah.
It was like a couple of years, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
But I think it should come back.
Well, you guys have so
much chocolate. So much chocolate.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's chocolate.
I'd like to see. We should have looked
day.
up some statistics as to
how much chocolate is consumed, per capita.
Well, yearly, in the UK and the US, I'd be interested to know.
Yeah,
that.
we should have done that actually, and that's a good idea.
Maybe I'll do that actually quickly while you're going through the rest of your list.
Well, on to the next one. I know because someone actually mentioned this recently on Facebook. I think it was one of my friends. They talked about the Mars Delight. So if everybody remembers the Mars Delight, it was this like a Mars bar.
Yeah.
But it was covered in milk chocolate. It had like a layer of wafer all around it, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like a creamy nougaty filling. It was like a moussey filling. It was like a dark milk chocolate. Mousse. It was very delicious. And it was so good. It was really good, you know, and then disappeared. I don't know if it was because of low sales or what. But yeah, it was around the early 2000s too that came out and disappeared.
Oh yeah.
And so whoever remembers the Mars Delight.
But yeah, I mean,
it was kind of like a Mars bar but smaller and
right,
creamier, yeah.
Okay.
The next one is Nestle Vice Versas. Now I remember them in the 90s. They were kind of like Galaxy Minstrels, if you've ever had them. I think I've probably bought some, and actually were probably one of the chocolates that I ate on that fateful day that I bought. But anyway, but they were good, and they were some were white chocolate covered in milk chocolate, and you know some were vice versa. You know, it was like they were like buttons. You know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so much of it is very gimmicky in
it's
my opinion.
It's gimmicky, but you know, it's like, what else are you going to do? You're just going to keep doing chocolate.
So,
you know?
So to quickly interrupt your list. In Britain, British people eat 660,000 tons of chocolate a year, which equates to about 3 bars per week.
Delicious.
I guess that's per person. Yeah, per person per year. Yeah, an average per person per year. So Americans consume 2.8 billion pounds of chocolate each year, or over 11 pounds per person. I wish they'd split that.
That's because it's because there's more people here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
If they did like
but that's surprising because
that is surprising, really, because I don't know.
Well, when you go through the checkout aisles at the grocery store,
it doesn't seem like anyone grabs candy.
No,
I've never seen it.
And if you go down the candy aisle, it looks like it's all there. I mean, there's nothing.
I mean, we do live in Austin, so it's kind of health conscious here. And stuff,
that's
you know,
true.
So.
Depends on where you are, maybe.
But really, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to move somewhere and find out. You know, maybe the smaller towns, maybe they're the ones eating all the chocolate.
Maybe, yeah. You don't know. Okay.
So that was
Back to the list.
Yeah. Back to the list. The next one I remember very well because it came out around when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Cadbury Marble. So good.
Okay.
So
it
good.
Just sounds like
it was a mix of
milk chocolate.
milk and white chocolate with a praline center. Okay. Or a praline center.
Praline.
Praline. And it was possibly the best thing Cadbury stopped making. Yeah. Really. I remember I used to buy like tons of these and eat them. Oh, God. I love praline or praline.
Yeah.
And they the milk and white chocolate was so creamy, and I don't know why they stopped making it. It's, dreaming about that thing.
It sounds good.
And there's another one too that was stopped in the 90s, but everybody remembers. It was made by Roundtrees, which was they make like fruit pastels and stuff now, and but now there's a petition for Cadbury to bring back this bar. It's the Secret Bar.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like it consisted of like a bird's nest style chocolate coating with a creamy mousse center, similar to the filling of a walnut whip.
Okay, yeah.
You've had a walnut whip, I think.
I think so, yeah.
That was so good. Everybody remembers the advert. It was kind of like a film noir kind of thing, where he told the woman to guard his secret bar with her life while he got away from these two guys, but she ate it. and she goes,
who does that remind us of, everyone?
Yeah, she was the female version of me there. But you can't trust anyone to keep a secret. That was the tagline. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much. But that's all I've got for my.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Well, you know what?
I mean,
guys?
we've got U.S. chocolate now to move on to.
Yeah, but I'm absolutely crap at this topic.
Yeah, because Erica doesn't really. Her thing, if it was cookies
or ice cream. Yeah.
Maybe you'd remember more.
I think so. Yeah.
You'd remember like, oh yeah, that was the year they got rid of the Rocky Road Supreme or whatever, It's just like, but this is kind of like more my topic than hers.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, in one of the other podcasts, I guess it was maybe the last podcast, I always thought that I wasn't into chocolate because I didn't like Hershey bars as a kid. So I think I just didn't really even like ask my parents if I could have candy bars and stuff when we were at the grocery store or whatever. I don't really remember asking for it. I don't really remember craving it. I think I remember like at Halloween and stuff like that, the chocolate would be the last thing that I would eat, except for Snickers. The Snickers I've always liked.
Snickers, I've said this before, my gran was really into them. I remember my gran was like, oh, Snickers.
My grandpa as well, that's funny.
Snickers. She'd say like that, Snickers. She used to sound like Sean Connery. Like, she says, get me a Snickers. Aye.
Yeah.
Love Snickers, me. Aye. But I did too. I would, I'd obsessed with Snickers.
My mom is hugely
one of the
into
best Yeah, your mum and I get along on that front because we're just talking about candy. We're just like, oh, what's it like? And
she would remember. She would, this list that we're about to go through, the American stuff that's discontinued. She would probably remember a lot of these things. I don't.
Well, if she's listening, she can remember along with us.
Yeah, Dominic was scrolling through the list, and I was kind of like just looking over his shoulder, and he was like, well, what about this one? Do you remember this? Do you remember that? And I'm just like, no, I really don't.
I was looking for the ones that weren't like in the 70s.
That were a bit more recent.
A bit more recent, yeah. Well, I've got a few here. I mean,
okay, yeah. So we can
we'll
talk
go
about
through
them, but I don't really remember them. So I don't know if we have listeners who remember them. Please let us know.
Any candy heads out there? Anyone who loves chocolate so much that
reminisce. Feel free to reminisce. Yeah.
Tell us all about it. We want to hear from you.
Tell us what it was like. Yeah, I am very into chocolate now, but we just didn't have it. We just didn't keep it at the house. My mom didn't buy it for us as kids, which
My mother was a big chocolate head. She'd go to Thornton's and get like
and when you don't have something,
bag
you don't
of Viennese
miss it.
Truffles.
You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
When you're not used to eating it, you don't miss it. So now, unfortunately, I crave it a bit more often than I used to.
That's probably due to my influence too, because I'm always eating candy.
Yeah. But okay, so we can start off with Summit bars.
Summit bars, yeah. I mean, well, this is stuff that I've never heard of or ever seen in Britain.
Me either.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Summit bars. Who remembers Summit bars? It's like market as both cookies and candy.
And again, these are the U.S. Dominic's going to go ahead because it doesn't really make a difference whether.
Yeah. I'll talk about it. Yeah.
I'll chime in if I happen to remember something specifically, but yeah, these are the U.S. chocolate bars that are gone. And By the way, we don't call them chocolate bars in America. I don't think so. We call them candy bars.
Candy, chocolate candy.
Yeah.
Because candy means sweets.
Go
get me a candy bar.
Pick me up a few candy bars while you're at the
Pick
grocery
me up a
store.
piece of that candy bar.
Yeah, pick me up a couple of candy bars when you go out. You know, we wouldn't say like chocolate bars. Maybe we would. I don't know, but to me,
yeah, because I mean, if someone said
a
candy bar, then yeah, I'd know they mean like a chocolate. But if it's get me some candy, it's like
yeah.
What are you talking about here? Like sweets or chocolate?
I think if we said candy, it wouldn't mean chocolate. But if we said a candy bar, it would mean chocolate.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels more natural to me. Maybe elsewhere in America, some people might...
There might be slang terms for it elsewhere here,
yeah. Anyway,
the Summit bars. Summit bars are... they were marketed as both cookies and candy, and since they were a combination of both... They were 2 wafers topped with peanuts and covered with chocolate. It sounds very delicious.
Everything has peanuts in it.
Peanuts
in America,
or peanut butter. Yeah, it's like, and wafers aren't really a big thing over here, so maybe that's why it didn't really.
Yeah, I'm not really a
wafers
huge
are big.
Person.
Wafers are big in Britain.
What's another American candy bar that's got a wafer in it?
You probably.
We do them as cookies, the wafer cookies with the cream, like chocolate cream or vanilla cream or strawberry cream. But yeah, I can't think of any candy bars that have a wafer inside.
Kit Kat. Oh, Kit Kat.
Oh, Kit Kat.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Kit Kat's only like the wafery one, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, at Summit bars, they were 2 wafers topped with peanuts and covered with chocolate.
Sounds interesting.
And Hershey came out with the Bar None.
I kind of think
in 1987.
Sounds familiar to me, Bar None, but maybe it's just because Bar None, you know.
This is another wafer one, I guess. In like
people aren't fans of wafer in America.
In America, wafer chocolate.
It consisted of a cocoa wafer, chocolate filling, peanuts, and chocolate coating. Despite being extremely popular as they were, Hershey's decided to add caramel to the recipe in 1992 and break the bar in half, similar to a Twix.
I mean, I guess because they did that, it was kind of like everybody was like, "Well, I'll just have a Twix then."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because it sounds.
The Bar None sounds a bit like a Time Out, because Time Out was like wafers with or a Drifter bar.
Because I prefer.
I miss Drifter bars.
Because I prefer the cookie in Twix.
Yeah, Twix is fantastic.
As opposed to the cocoa wafer. I mean, yeah, chocolate filling though. That's interesting.
Yeah, chocolate filling. Sounds good. I
wonder. Did it all taste like Hershey's chocolate though? Or Hershey's also does Reese's. And that doesn't like Hershey's chocolate,
I guess that could be something to do with the peanut butter though.
Maybe.
Like cutting everything out or whatever.
Yeah.
The next one is Twix, actually. In 1990, Twix released 2 flavors. The cookies and cream and chocolate fudge.
Nope.
You don't remember it at all?
I do not remember this at all. And cookies and cream is like one of my absolute flavors of anything. Ice cream, the Hershey's cookies.
It sounds like it would be really good. I mean, Twix have like
whatever.
Just recently, we Instagrammed a Twix triple chocolate one.
Yeah, a picture that
which was chocolate like.
It was the
biscuit. Or cookie.
It was like
and
the candy bar
chocolate
section
caramel.
at Walmart, and we were realizing that there's all these new in quotation marks, flavors of candy bars that we were not aware of. I mean, I don't know how long they've been out, but they're new to me.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, like there's Milky Way Midnight, which is a dark chocolate, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's Twix triple chocolate.
Yeah.
And there's all these flavors of M&Ms now.
Yeah. Somebody showed us, what was it? Mexican jalapeno M&Ms or something like that.
Something, yeah. It was jalapeno M&Ms. There's raspberry ones.
Raspberry M&Ms?
Yeah.
There's a raspberry...
If you go to a gas station in America, any gas station, they're like a candy store.
Hershey's has,
Hershey have a waffle
There's
layer.
A waffle, layer bar, and I think it's got, strawberry or raspberry or something like that. There's,
the Reese's Outrageous Pieces.
Reese's Outrageous, yeah, and it's got the Reese's Pieces. I've never been a fan of Reese's Pieces. I like the other, but yeah, Twix triple chocolate. The Hershey's Gold we have seen and tried that one.
We're just looking at a picture of candy right now. Rolos, and Cadbury Caramello. I mean, that's just basically a Cadbury Caramel to me,
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Dairy Milk Caramel too. I mean, that's
Twix Cookies and Cream though. That sounds really good. I missed that. I missed that one apparently.
Apparently, there's a Facebook page begging for its return, but we'll see if it happens anyway.
Yeah.
Now on to Nestle Alpine.
Nestle Alpine. Yeah, I do remember this. Are we not sure that they still don't have this? Because I feel like I've seen this in like the baking aisle.
Oh, you're talking
a white chocolate Nestle bar, and
you're thinking of
like
baking chocolate or something.
I definitely have seen. I can see it in my mind's eye. Alpine.
Yeah, like Alpine Swiss. Maybe that's it, because I think that's a chocolate too.
Okay, so maybe that's
Nestle Alpine White Bar was simple. It was just a white chocolate bar with almonds. Confusingly, Nestle chose to market this bar as a more sophisticated adult chocolate bar.
Ooh, white chocolate with almonds.
The 80s were a weird time. Well, yeah, it does actually, but for some reason it just died out.
The next one on the list, though, looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot for the life of me understand why people wouldn't have. I don't remember it at all, but I don't know why people wouldn't have bought it and like loved it and cherished it, and why it still doesn't exist. And it's the Hershey S'mores Bar. And it looked, in the picture online, guys, it looks so good with a really thick layer of marshmallow.
And a small thing of graham cracker, and it was just all covered in Hershey chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe that's why.
But it was the answer for anyone too lazy or too far from a campfire to make their own s'mores, basically.
Yeah.
Chocolate, marshmallow, and graham crackers into one prepackaged. And
oh, God,
apparently
it looked so good.
After 2003, it was discontinued, probably due to low sales, but it's just kind of like, why would...
Weird.
I guess everybody just wants to kind of like do it themselves.
Yeah. PB Max?
PB Max.
I feel like I can vaguely remember. And apparently
no, it's not TJ Maxx. It's PB Max.
It was gone by 1994, so... I think maybe I can remember it. And it was part of the Mars candy family. And what did it have? It had peanut butter in it, oats, and it was enveloped is what you say, yeah. Enveloped in milk chocolate. Milk chocolate,
It was, a cookie top with peanut butter and oats enveloped in milk chocolate. And it was extremely popular, apparently, over here.
Oats, though. That sounds so
I don't know. It might cut the peanut butter a little bit. It might be good.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And it was extremely popular and apparently brought in $50 million of sales.
Oh, but what were you reading? The Mars family didn't like peanut butter.
The Mars family, because the Mars candy family, Milky Way and Twix, and Snickers, they produced this snack. For some reason, the Mars family themselves, they didn't like peanut butter, so they shut it all down.
But like you said, why make it in the first place then?
Obviously, someone came up with it, and someone came in and was throwing a fit one day and ate one and was like, "Oh, I don't like peanut butter. Shut it down. Shut it down, Mars. I don't care."
Things that weren't on the list.
I don't care if it's bringing in $50 million a week. Shut it down.
Were the Wonka candy.
Wonka candies,
and they had the Wonka chocolate bars, and you looked it up. It was like made by Nestle, right?
Nestle came out with it.
Yeah, we had that for a while, and that was always so fun. I don't know if you were into the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Gene Wilder version, anyway.
Yeah. Or the book. I mean, I had the book as well, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so we were like into that as a household when I was little. So the candy was really a lot of fun to go and like look at, and it was brightly packaged and everything. All of that's gone. They had like chocolate bars and
chocolate bars.
And you have on
this
the
is
list
the Wonka donuts.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a donut. It was the only thing it had in common with a donut was its shape. The Wonka version was a donut-shaped chocolate ring with a truffle-like interior and sprinkles.
I don't remember it specifically, but it sounds
It was
delicious.
released in 2005 to coincide with the Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but didn't stick around for much longer due to lack of sales.
So if you remember any of those, let us know. Tweet us or Facebook us or let us know in the comments below.
Oh, yeah.
Or if we left anything off, which we...
If we left any of your favorite candy off...
Probably did. That's
and you haven't seen it,
yeah.
Let us know on Facebook in the group Butty.
So the last little piece to this chocolate puzzle that we
created. The last envelope to this.
In this podcast is this list that I found. I just thought it was interesting, so I wanted to include it. And it's the oldest candy bars ever created, and they are still going. The chocolate bars that are still going. So number 10 is the top 10 oldest ones. Number 10 is the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and they were created in 1928.
1928, everybody.
Yeah.
They don't taste like they were made in 1928.
They've been around that long. They've been on shelves for that long. Number 9 is the O. Henry bar.
Oh, yeah, that's a cute bar.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, oh, Henry!
1920, they were created. We're getting older. Number 8 is the Clark bar.
Yeah, I've never seen that over here.
Which was made in 1917 and is still going. It's basically like a Butterfinger, right? I think we covered that in the previous podcast. Yeah. Number 7 is Fry's Turkish Delight.
Oh, yeah.
Which was originated in England. Yeah. 1914. It's been going since.
1914.
And who knows how, because it's not very nice.
When I was a kid, I hated it. My mother loved it, but I hated it. I hated it.
It's definitely interesting.
Did not want to eat. My mother would try and give me some of it, or I'd be like, oh, there's no other candy around. Can I just eat the chocolate off the top of it? But I just couldn't stomach it. But then when I was like a teenager, I guess my taste buds changed and I like it now, Number
6 is the Toblerone, created in Switzerland in 1908.
1908.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? Number 5 is the Cadbury Dairy Milk.
Oh, yeah.
Originated in England, of course. 1905.
1905. Yeah, it's like 1905 vanilla.
Yeah. And number 4 is the Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar. It's interesting to me that this is older than Cadbury. Consider the Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar was created in the United States in 1900.
Tastes like it was made in 1900.
5 years older than
still the same recipe, I guess. Still the same milk they're using.
Number 3 is the Lindt chocolate bar, originated in Switzerland in 1879. So like way before Hershey's and Cadbury.
Lindt, though, is just like one of the top.
Lindt is fabulous.
Lindt truffles, bloody hell.
Yeah. I had no idea it was that old. That's amazing. And then number 2 is the Nestle milk chocolate bar, which originated in Switzerland in 1875.
I don't really see it too much around the chocolate
just the
bar.
chocolate.
Just like the brands.
The thing I think about Nestle over here
Toffee
in America,
Crisp is a good Nestle one.
We have Nestle Crunch bar.
Yeah,
and
that's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only one I've kind of seen. I've never seen like a Nestle milk chocolate bar at all.
I don't know. Apparently, it's still going though. And then number 1, the oldest chocolate in the world, was created in England in 1866, and it's the Fry's chocolate cream.
And it's still going today, and it's bloody fantastic.
I don't think I've had that one.
I mean, it's not as popular as everything else.
It's been going for well over 100
But Fry's,
years.
They've got Fry's chocolate cream and Fry's peppermint cream.
Oh my god, I need to try that.
Yeah, so if you want to send us some, go ahead.
There are 2 permanent flavors of the bars, original chocolate cream and peppermint cream. We're getting this from oldest.org. website, by the way. So I'm just going to read directly now that I've told you where the website is from. Over the years, other flavors included strawberry cream, pineapple cream, orange cream, and one of the original flavors that was discontinued. Oh, no, the orange cream. Oh, orange cream sounds fantastic.
Well, the orange cream for what, fries?
That was an original. Yeah, that was one of the
I'm
original
sure I've seen
flavors.
fries orange cream too.
Discontinued in 2015.
Oh, so I did.
Wah, wah, yeah.
Yes, I used to see the fries, the chocolate cream, which was like just cream, like creamy mousse.
And the
then
5-center, orange, raspberry, lime, strawberry, and pineapple.
Oh, I don't think I ever
It had
saw
all
that.
of them?
Oh, I don't know.
I wonder if it was divided into compartments.
Maybe. Like that 7-Up bar.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, actually, I would like to ask, while we're talking about topics for podcasts, I would like to ask each of you listening, if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, to please send them to us. You can Facebook them, you can tweet them, you can email them, you can Instagram them. We're on all the things, and you can contact us all the ways. And we want to be sure and cover things that you guys want us to talk about. So definitely let us know if there is anything specific that you want to know about Britain, or if you're in elsewhere in the world and you want to know about America, or if you want to know about like an expat life.
Expat life, yo.
A couple that's from different countries, just whatever, anything you can think of, as long as it's not too personal. Yeah, we'll try to cover it.
Yeah.
We want to talk about what you want to hear, and not
yes,
just what we want to
do.
talk about.
We want to talk about it.
I mean, we're going to talk
love
about
talking.
We're going to talk about what we want to talk about, regardless.
Yeah, we'll talk about what we want to talk about later in the program.
Hope you enjoyed this podcast. And
hope you enjoyed it.
We will
see you later.
Smell you next time.
Yep, or eat you later. Whatever it's going to be.
Bye.
Bye.